What's up, you guys? I am Extra Eric, and today I am going to be ranking Dua Lipa's iconic album, Future Nostalgia. I have not stopped listening to this album since it dropped because every song is so iconic, every song is so flawless, the dance music on this album is impeccable. Dua has proven time and time again that she can make pop songs like no other, and Future Nostalgia is just proof of that. And like, selfishly, this is such an album for the gays. It is such perfect dance music, and it's just a shame that we all can't be in clubs dancing to this around the world because that's the one thing we need. But at least we have this album because it's one of the highlights that for me has really gotten me through the quarantine period. There has not been a day that's gone by where I have not listened to this album. Just like Lady Gaga's CHROMATICA, Future Nostalgia is full of dance anthems and powerful moments, and it really showcases some like god tier pop songs. I'm so glad that pop music in 2020 is starting off at such a high note, and Future Nostalgia is bringing back all those discos and dance anthems. It's such a call to like the Madonna's Confession era, and the fact that we might even have a Madonna collab coming that her team is working on is truly just, there's nothing better than that. As you can see, I have my physical merch on and I am ready to do this, so I am going to rank Dua Lipa's album, Future Nostalgia. Okay, so because I'm such a Dua stan and I love this album so much, this was such an easy album to rank. There was really only one moment on it, which I will highlight when I get to it, that I really struggled with, and I even changed my ranking right back to what I thought it was right before I made this video. I'd like to highlight that this is my ranking of the album, of my favorite songs and what I love most about it. This isn't necessarily technically the best songs from best to worst or anything like that. This is my take and my favorite songs on this album. Kicking off the list at number 11 is Good in Bed. Now, this song I could not get into from the start. It really took me multiple times of listening to the album over and over again and really finally giving it a chance, because for me the sound is very different from everything else on the album. It kind of sounds like it's on an island of its own a little bit. I don't know why, I just couldn't get into it from the start, and it always turned into one of those songs that I skipped, and I kind of would always just jump right back to the start of the album of Future Nostalgia and dive into my favorites from there whenever I would listen to it on repeat. It's funny with this song because there were a lot of people, and I'd like to highlight straight people, that started sharing this on their Instagram stories and whatnot when the album came out, saying like this was their favorite song. And it's no surprise that I didn't like it as much because it's just not like the gay anthem like the rest of the album. I have really come around to this song and I've been listening to it a lot lately the more I've been listening to this album, but for some reason it just doesn't do a whole lot for me, which is why I have to put it at number 11. Okay, the next one is going to be a controversial choice, and I know I'm going to get roasted in the comments for this one, and once again, I do know that this is a lot of people's favorite songs, and I love everything about this song, but up at number 10 is Boys Will Be Boys. The sole reason that this song is coming in at number 10 beneath all of the others is just because the rest of the album is pure pop, it is pure dance anthems, it is just the definition of what I love, and unfortunately, as much as I love the message of this song, I love that Dua is sending it because she's just such like a strong, empowering woman, and the fact that she is delivering a song like this and it has included on an album as iconic as this is so necessary, but only because I love everything else so much more. It's the only reason I can put this song in at number 10. I'm excited to look into the comments after I post this video because I know a lot of people are probably going to list Boys Will Be Boys in their top 5 favorites of the album, which it's kind of funny because there's so many different types of songs on this album that I feel like it's very divisive in a lot of ways. It's similar to Good in Bed, and it makes total sense that those two songs end off the album because sonically I feel like compared to the rest of the album they definitely match up a lot better. But overall, this album is so spotless from top to bottom. There is not one imperfection on it. Dua truly gave us everything and more with this. Overall, like I said, I love that the song is on the album. This album is truly going to be like one of the biggest pop albums that we'll always look back on, I feel like. It truly is a timeless album, and honestly, just every song on this is so perfect that it's very difficult to rank perfection, but this is just the way I'm doing it. My next choice definitely follows the sonic trends of the last two choices I picked, I feel like, in terms of standing out from a lot of the other songs on the album, but up at number 9 is Pretty Please. The middle of this album is so powerful, and I feel like Pretty Please comes in at a moment when you are truly riding high off of Levitating, and it's just the dance songs and the BPMs are just going straight through. And Pretty Please is kind of like a dip in the overall excitement of what's happening. As someone who loves pop music as much as I do and loves a good dance anthem, the fact that it kind of came in the album when it did, I always skipped right past it. The placement of this song on the album is really interesting to me. I feel like I would have put it somewhere else. You are riding so high off of like Physical into Cool, and then it's Pretty Please, and then you're going right to Hallucinate, Love Again, and Break My Heart. It's just in such a powerful moment on the album that I just never dove into it immediately because I wanted the pop dance anthems. I think its position on my list definitely was never going to change, but recently, as I said, I've been listening to the album a lot, and I really have been coming around to Pretty Please. Now let's move on to number 8, and up at number 8 is Don't Start Now. This song ushered in this whole new era of Dua Lipa dance hits, and it really was the perfect one to do it. It was such a massive success, and the song grew over time all the way to the top of the charts, and it's really become just such a mega success and another one of Dua Lipa's massive pop anthems. Don't Start Now is just the perfect summer song. It's the perfect song that literally gets everybody in the room dancing, and it's a song everybody loves. It's funny because I always refer to Don't Start Now as one of the straightest moments on this album, which is of course full of like gay dance anthems, but I feel like this is a song for straight people. The only reason I say that is because there are so many gays that I know. When me and all my friends talk about our favorite songs from this album, Don't Start Now is never a song that's highlighted. The only people I know that have really said this is like their jam are like my straight friends, which is why I always refer to this like that. But I will say the remixes for this song are fantastic, and a mega mix of this song will get any dance floor going anywhere, so it still is a perfect dance hit overall. Up at number 7 is going to be what I think is one of the most unique moments on the album, and it's of course where the title of it comes from. It's Future Nostalgia. I love this song so much, and what I love about it is that we get to see such a much more playful side of Dua in it. The lyrics of this song are so iconic, and I love it when she says, "You want to time the song, well I'm here to change the game." And even in that chorus part where she's like, "I know you're dying trying to figure me out," she's just proving that she can truly do anything. And I love how she was saying that she wants to be like the Kylie Minogue Madonna of our era, and honestly this album is setting up to be just that. When it was first announced, the whole concept of it didn't make total sense to me, and I was intrigued as to what it was really going to be like, and she was like, once you get the album you're gonna know, and she was 100% right. This is going to be a decade defining album, and it's gonna be one that we're going to continue listening to for decades. I'd like to highlight too, I feel like a lot of times when artists drop title tracks, the songs aren't as powerful, or they just kind of like miss the mark, but everything Dua did for this song is just so perfect. All right, we are halfway through the album, and up at number 6 is a song that immediately had my jaw on the floor for this first time I listened to it. Up at number 6 is Cool. The sound of the song was so surprising to me when I first heard it because it was just such a departure from everything we got in the self-titled era, and I just couldn't believe that Dua was giving us this. This song is so fresh and cool, and it's so Dua, and it's so different. There's so many different characteristics of it, and although it's not one of like the fastest, most dance pop songs on the album, I feel like it's become one of those songs that's an immediate crowd pleaser for everybody. Just like Future Nostalgia, I feel like Cool is showcasing an entirely different side to Dua Lipa in this whole like kind of fresh, new, vibey era where she's just doing something completely different, but it's still just so her. Overall, I don't have a whole lot of thoughts about Cool besides the fact it is just a perfect song. It is such like the best song to listen to. It is an ideal summer song. It really is just pop music at its best, and the only reason Cool is coming in at number 6 for me is just because everything on this album is now so flawless, and it is literally splitting hairs to pick between these songs, but if I have to pick in terms of my favorite, Cool has to land at number 6 because the top 5 are just so jam-packed. So let's move up to the next song at number 5, which is Break My Heart. I feel like Break My Heart is like the new rules of this album in the sense that the lyrical stylings of the song and the way she says the different words and the different melodies throughout it, it is just so infectious that everybody immediately is in love with it. And just like New Rules had all of those fun different moments, Break My Heart has just as many, if not more. Like the "Oh no, I was doing better before," and the way that she says the words on each of the beats, it's so different, it's so unique. It's Dua giving us something new. I feel like she is really bringing the music videos back and doing so many different things. And the cinematography of this and the way it was shot and the way that she just kind of walks around and does her little dance moves and whatnot. Just like when I was listening to Cool, my mouth was on the ground watching this video because I really couldn't believe that she was giving us this. It's just so good, and it's not easy to be that good. She kills me because in the music video, basically for the entire thing, she does not break an expression once, and she keeps it the entire time while she's literally falling through the worlds and flying through the clouds. I want to keep this list moving and go up to number 4 because the top 4 songs on this album for me are just what I would consider to be god tier pop songs. I don't even know how I was able to rank the next 4, but the fact that Dua has given us these songs and the fact that she was able to create them, I feel like they're just some of her most powerful work to date. These songs for me are cementing her as a pop superstar. So up at number 4, I will give you a hint, is the next single from this album, which is Hallucinate. Hallucinate is a dance floor banger, and that is really the only way to describe this song. And just like Break My Heart, it features those classic Dua Lipa lyrical stylings that just bring the song to an entirely new level. The way the words match the beat and the way it progresses and just blows up in the chorus, it was immediately a gay anthem. And just like the rest of the songs in this top 4, Hallucinate really kicks off what I consider to be a different sound on this album, which is bringing back that more disco and 80s dance vibes, early 2000s, kind of like Madonna's Confessions, like all of that roped into this whole new sound. And these songs for me are the ones that are like truly creating this new defining sound. Let's not forget that Future Nostalgia is Dua Lipa's second album, and immediately from the start, fans and critics alike were all immediately comparing it to albums like Madonna's Confessions and calling it her Confessions moment. Confessions came late into Madonna's career, and the fact that on her second album, Dua is already receiving these comparisons, that just speaks to the power of what she delivered. Now I want to take that and move up to the third song in my ranking for this album, because it is what I consider to be probably the most Confessions moment. This was the moment that I referenced before when I could not make a decision. It was the only difficult choice I had when it came to ranking this album. It was between what I was going to put at number 3 and what I was going to put at number 2. These songs are basically going to receive the same ranking for me, but I will put one at 2 and one at 3 just for the sake of this list. Number 2, when I heard it, basically became my favorite song immediately from the album, and it really held its place for a while. And the more I listened to this album, number 3 easily became one of my favorite songs. It's just such a different experience. But the more I listened to Future Nostalgia, this song easily became one of my favorites, so I am going to put Love Again at number 3. I truly just cannot put into words what this song makes me feel, because it's just that moment when a pop song comes over you and it takes you to an entirely new place. It's escapist in a lot of different ways, but it's also such like a dance banger. This song to me is a very Confessions moment because it sounds a lot like Hung Up, which was produced by Stuart Price, and Stuart Price also produced a few of the songs on this album as well, and Love Again is one of those songs. I love that there's that actual connection there, and I feel like the fact that he is working on this album is really giving his like stamp of approval on what Dua is doing in a lot of ways. The fact that she's working with someone so massive at this stage in her career, and Confessions was an album that came decades into Madonna's career, it just really goes to show the power of what she's doing and that she can truly do anything. For me personally, Love Again is one of the biggest moments on this album. It's just when a song hits you like that and it does what this song does, there is just no words that you can describe it. It's a song that will like literally have me crying on the dance floor. It's escapist in a lot of different ways, but it's so big and it's so grand even though it's not trying to be. And that's what I love the most about it. The sound of the song is insanely difficult to pull off, and the fact that she did it with such expert precision is just, it blows my mind away. Up at number 2 is a song that immediately became my favorite from the second I listened to the album in full. Like I said, it was incredibly difficult to rank these songs, but up at number 2 is going to be Levitating. Levitating is a god tier pop song, and there are no other ways to describe it. Out of everything on the album, this is the song that makes me envision everything about the visuals from the Future Nostalgia era. Like the cover when it's Dua driving through space with the moon in the back, the ways that she's referencing the galaxy and the Milky Way, and just the fun, bouncy nature of the song. This is what Future Nostalgia is all about. Just like Love Again, Levitating was also co-produced by Stuart Price, which is why I like to think the song is as fantastic as it is. This song is truly out of this world, is out of this galaxy, is in a whole new dimension. I feel like Dua Lipa has created an entirely new category of pop music with Levitating. It is just truly that good. You can't even compare this song to any song that has ever come before. It is so unique and so different, but I do think that it is going to be the benchmark of incredible pop songs for other songs in the future. I don't care who you ask, they will put Levitating in their top 3 favorite songs on this album, and if they don't, you are talking to somebody that doesn't have taste. If you've watched my ranking of Lady Gaga's Chromatica, I talked a lot about on that album how when you listen to some of the songs, they make you feel as if you're being transported to another place, like to Chromatica. Levitating is that song on this album that is transporting you to another world, to outer space where there is not any care in the world besides dancing. We have made it to the top of the list, and up at number 1, if my shirt has already not given it away, is Physical. I have said it before and I will say it again, and I'm saying it in this video. Physical is the best song that Dua Lipa has ever released. From the fan perspective, it can be difficult to sometimes say that like a single is like the best song ever, but in this case, it truly is. I've mentioned Madonna's Confessions album a lot in this video, but Physical, when it was first released, was a song that everybody immediately drew the comparison to. Don't Start Now was a really fun and cute moment to kick off the Future Nostalgia era, but Physical is what shot us into outer space and into this entirely new sound and into this entirely new world. The energy of this song, even though it starts off slow, I feel like you are literally sprinting the entire time through it, and if you were to hear the song in a club, like on a dance floor, this is the song that just keeps you dancing. Don't Start Now is the song that gets everybody on the dance floor dancing, but Physical is the song when it comes on at like 3 in the morning when you need the energy to keep going. That is going to be the song that keeps you on the dance floor. It just is the definition of a dance hit. Creating a song called Physical is almost impossible when you're tapping into this 80s dance sound and you're making reference to one of the biggest songs ever, Let's Get Physical, and you are doing it so flawlessly, and you are even including Let's Get Physical as like the biggest moment in the chorus, words do not describe. And just like the other songs that came before it, God Tier is the only way to describe Physical because this song is in a league of its own. Not only is Physical my #1 favorite song on this album, Physical is my #1 favorite pop song of 2020 so far. So that was my ranking of Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia. Now I want to have a discussion in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. Do you agree or disagree with my choices, and what were your top favorites from this album? Put it in the comments. Let me know your list. Let me know your thoughts. Let's dive into the greatness of this album. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and turn the alert bell on because I will be doing a lot more of these ranking videos. And if you have any other ideas for me, let me know in the comments too. Until next time.